I think that the lowering of the cost of technology, if you take a look at what GarageBand can do today, it can do a ton of stuff. And I encourage people to do that. I made records very inexpensively. I had a Magnacord or an Ampex, put it on the back of my motor scooter, a box of tape, a mic stand. We didn't even have mixers back then. You'd arrange the microphone so that to be able to pick up enough of the guitar intimately, but then have the big roundness of the voice, which was most important because in folk music it was the words and the emotional freight that they carried with them. So I like the idea of low-cost entry because you're going to get stuff that you might not get at all, but you're going to get a lot of crap. The problem with the crap is that it raises the general noise level, so you have to shout louder to be heard. But why shouldn't everybody have the same shot I had?
So do you think that some of the sort of efforts at, say, social music sites and that are out there, the Spotify's, the Pandora's, the Last FM, all that stuff, does that help you sort of filter?
I think what helps you, I'm a firm believer in good first filters. Radio did it at one time when the DJs got to pick their own material, but when it got organized into research and stuff as to what people wanted to hear, I always relied on what I wanted to hear. And if it didn't work, it didn't work, next. I think all of those tools, some work different for different people. And if they last at all, they last because people are using them. I'm for all of that. I'm also for the level of first filter where somebody tells you that a trusted agent tells you that something is great and it's worth listening to, and you give it a listen. I don't think we use enough first filters. And I think there's a lot of room out there for first filters. But you have to build up credibility over time. Elektra itself became a first filter because people respected our process and what we did. If you didn't like your record and you could not get it returned, you send it back to us, we'll return the full price. That happened about 50 to 100 times in my years. Just give them the list price back and send them a sampler with it.
That's right, you invented the genius list in effect, the sampler album.
Yeah, the sampler was one of those. I'm sitting in a movie one day and I'm watching Coming Attractions. And I'm starting to think, how does Coming Attractions apply to the music business? TV uses TV, movie uses the trailers, radio tells you what happened. What the hell do record companies do? You can't put... by the way, when the standard for the CD was coming, and I had input into that, I urged them that we have a 2-session CD so that we could piggyback tracks on to expose more artists to people. It wouldn't go into it automatically, you'd have to select it. So no artist was being hurt by it, just as no film is being hurt by previews of Coming Attraction. I couldn't get the second session written into the Red Book spec, to my regret to this day. But where did I leave off?
Oh, you were talking about the value of having...
Yeah. So. Yeah. The value of being able to have a medium with which you could issue new artists, where people could sampler things. That's why it was called a sampler album. It was a very folk term because of the Whitman sampler on the candy box and the samplers people had up on their walls in old movies. Called it a sampler, and we had a 10-inch sampler. We issued about 10 samplers in my years, and we had hits come off of the samplers. Paul Butterfield, Born in Chicago. Samplers were wonderful for bringing music in. They cost $2, you didn't pay any tax, and you didn't pay any shipping charges. We just shipped them to you.
So a good idea. He's walking back.